I was looking kind of like at the TV Tropes kind of website, which has got a lot of really good stuff on kind of gender and women. And there's one particular one, which is probably the most famous trope of all, which is called Men Act and Women Are, where male characters are described as being defined more by their actions than their personalities or appearances. But female characters, on the other hand, are defined by their personalities and appearances, but not on their actions. And if they are defined by their actions, they're often accused of being a Mary Sue. So I'm just asking everyone, really, do we think perhaps that this most famous of double standards is still being upheld in contemporary film and television?
Just looking at things like, the superhero films, and even if you just look at the posters for Avengers, you see it in the costume design, in the poses they're made to, stay in for the posters and things like that. It's definitely still there.
Well, I was thinking about The Walking Dead, which I watched for many series, but not quite to the end. And I did find that the women in that were given an awful lot more to do. They were given as many storylines as the men. It wasn't just about looks and personality. There was plenty to go around with everybody. But I don't know whether that's because, there was more women, so it was better balanced than perhaps some of these fancy things where you have a couple of men and a woman, or whether it was just because it's a TV series. They obviously have more time to go into that than they maybe do in a 2-hour film. I don't know if that makes a difference at all.
I would say that if they have enough time in a film to go into more depth for the male characters, they ought to do the same for the female ones.
I think it's an interesting one. I think sometimes the style of the film makes a difference too. As you said, the sort of superhero ones, especially with the sort of tight costumes and poses, is definitely sort of it's harder to do. Even though, I think they did a good job with Wonder Woman and made her cool action hero thing, but obviously there's still an element of she still has to look really cool and beautiful at the same time and wear the evening gowns while carrying a sword in her back and things. So it's finding that happy balance, but it's really hard when it's so ingrained. That's, I think, the big problem.